This is probably the most powerful tool that God has given you. You know, the parable of the talents is found in Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. And in that parable, Jesus is teaching his disciples how they are to live while they anticipate his return. In the parable, there is a master, right? A master who is going to leave on a long journey. And he entrusts 3 of his servants with his wealth while he's gone. To the first servant, he gives 5 talents, it says. And a talent is a monetary unit of money, and it was worth roughly 20 years worth of wages for a laborer. And so that first servant gets 5 talents. He gets around 100 years worth of wages for a laborer. And the second servant, well, he gets 2 talents, which is around 40 years, right, worth of work for a laborer. And then the third servant gets 1 talent, or 1 unit of money, 20 years worth of wages for a laborer. And so they receive an extraordinary amount of money to manage while the master goes away. And it's interesting here that the text says that he gave this to them according to their ability. Now, you know, sometimes when we think about talents in modern English, we think of the ability to do something. Like we say, oh, she is such a talented artist. That means that she has a great ability or a natural ability to do art. But that's not really how the word talent is used in this text. The word talent here it's a resource, it's a thing, right, that the master gave them. In this case, it was money. If you were to look at this in a modern sense, maybe you would say a person who has a great talent for playing the guitar, we're equating the ability with the talent rather than the guitar with the talent, right? You see, his parents gave him the guitar according to his ability to play it. And so the guitar in the biblical sense would be the talent, and it was given to him according to his ability to play it. You know, when we think about the talents that God has given us, it's not really our abilities. We have the ability, and the ability may be God-given, but it's the things that God has given us, the physical resources that we have that he expects us to utilize for his glory according to our ability. And so if God has given it to us, then he knows that we have the ability to use it the way that he would like it to be used. In the parable, the master goes away and the servants do something, right, with this money that the master gave them. And so they do something with it, and then the master comes back and he calls the servants together so they can give an account of what they did with what the master gave them. The first servant comes in and he doubled it. He made 5 extra talents and he gives it to the master. And the master's like, well done, right? Good and faithful servant. Enter into your master's joy. And the second servant comes up and he's the one that had the 2 talents. So he made 2 more talents. They both went and traded them on the market, say. He comes in and he gives the master the 4 talents and he's like, good done. All right. Well done is what he says. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into your master's joy. You've got that last servant, the servant that only got the 1 talent. And the text says that he was afraid. He went out, he dug a hole, and he buried the talent. And then when the master came back, he dug up the talent and he gave it back to him, said, here's what's yours. It doesn't turn out so good for that last servant, where we might look at it and say, man, you know, at least he didn't lose it, right? He was trustworthy. He didn't lose it. He kept it safe all those years or however long it was. And the master should be happy about that. But that's not what the master wanted, right? The master wanted him to use that talent for the benefit of the master. And so the master tells him, then you should have at least put it in the bank, so I got back what was mine with interest. And he calls him a wicked and slothful servant, and they cast him out into outer darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. most of the time, I think when I read that parable, I tend to focus on that last servant, the 1 talent servant who went out and buried his treasure. But while that's true, we don't want to be that servant. There's something else going on here that is truly amazing in the parable. And that is that the master entrusted his servants with great wealth and great responsibility. Right? He didn't just abandon them. Guys, I'm going off on a long trip. You make sure to take care of yourselves. When I come back, I hope you're healthy. He didn't just abandon them. Right? He gave them the wealth that they would need to do a job for him, the resources to accomplish that job, and when he returned, he gave them great reward. And that is the God that we serve. Right? He hasn't just abandoned us, but he has given us tools and he has given us resources to use for his glory and the evangelization of the whole world while we anxiously await his return. I mean, how cool is that? I want to share with you one of the greatest resources that God has given us. And I think it might surprise you. Throughout history, God's people have utilized whatever technology is available to them for God's glory and the evangelization of the world. During New Testament times, they used their voices and they wrote handwritten letters on papyrus. When papyrus was scarce, they wrote it on vellum, which is a thin animal skin. And they circulated those letters, they hand copied them, and they circulated them more, and they made more hand copies, and the word of God spread by that limited source of technology. But when the printing press was invented, Christians were on the ball. They were printing Bibles, printing tracts, printing books, printing lessons, printing sermons. All kinds of biblical material was being printed on the printing press because that was the newest and latest technology that would allow them to spread the gospel further and faster than ever before. When the radio was invented, Christians jumped on the radio and they started broadcasting sermons and talk shows and lessons on the radio all around the world while still utilizing the printing press. And then TV was invented, and good sound gospel preachers, they got on TV and they had TV programs where they were broadcasting to the whole world while still using the radio and still using the printing press. They utilized the technology that was available to them. And today, my friends, God has given us a tool that it's probably better than all of those combined. And that, my friends, is this little tool right here. It's the cell phone that you carry in your pocket every day. This is a digital printing press. It's a digital radio. It's a TV station, all right here, with worldwide distribution. This is a missionary tool that can reach the nations. It's all in one little device, and it's in our pockets every day. And you might ask, why is that such a powerful tool? Well, you think about it. You're where did Paul go when he wanted to teach the gospel? Well, when you read through the book of Acts, you see that his tradition was to go to the synagogue. Well, why did he go to the synagogue? He went to the synagogue because that's where people gathered. Specifically, that's where Jews gathered, and the Jewish people were supposed to be waiting for the Messiah to come. And so Paul would go to the synagogue first, and then when they rejected the gospel, he would go to the Gentiles. Now, when he went to the Gentiles, he went to different places. For an example, when he went to Athens, he went up to Mars Hill. Well, why did he go to Mars Hill? Because that's where the people gathered that wanted to talk about and listen to new ideas. When he was in Philippi, he went to the marketplace because that's where people gathered. That's where people shared ideas. That's where they communicated and talked to one another. Where do people do that today more often than anywhere else. Today's Mars Hill or today's marketplace is on social media, and we all access it with this little guy right here. When we're looking at the world and how to evangelize the world, it's really important, I think, that we realize that 5.17 billion people are on social media. That's like 63 or 64% of the world's population, and it is only increasing. Every day, on average, each of those 5+ billion people spend 2 hours and 21 minutes on social media. You know why that's amazing? That's amazing because we know where they're going to be. For 2 hours and 21 minutes of every single day, they're going to be on social media. And what social media platforms do they use? Well, number one is Facebook with about 2.9 billion people. And then you have YouTube with about 2.5 billion people using it. And then you have WhatsApp, and then Instagram. That's another big one here in the States, right? With about 2 billion people. Then you can see you got TikTok and Twitter or X lower on down that chart there. But this is where the people are. And I want to share with you which of these social platforms I think is the best. And that's YouTube. And not just because I'm on YouTube and I use YouTube, but because YouTube is different than all the other social media platforms. Let me share with you why. Well, we already saw 2.5 billion people are on YouTube. That's 2.5 billion monthly active users as of April 2024. That's going to be over 3 billion by the end of 2025. That's 31.5% of the total global population. They use YouTube. They use YouTube just like I do and you do. You know, we go there and we type something in and we want to learn, right, how to fix the lawnmower or how to clean the washing machine or how to repair the microwave or a million other questions. They go to YouTube to find those answers. YouTube is the second most visited website in the world. Google's number 1, YouTube's number 2, Facebook is number 3, and Instagram is number 4. You notice that 3 of the top 4 visited websites in the world are social media platforms. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Google, of course, is number 1, right? We all just say, Google it. Did you know that YouTube is the second largest one? That means that people are going to YouTube and they're typing in their questions in YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you type in the search bar, should Christians, you're going to see that window kind of expand down and there's going to be a whole bunch of suggestions there. These are things that YouTube thinks you might be looking for because, right, these are real questions that real people asked when they typed in that little search window. People go to YouTube to find the answers to these questions. If you type in, what does the Bible, it'll auto-populate. What does the Bible say about? And it gives you a whole list of things there that people are really searching for on YouTube. That's because YouTube is the world's second largest search engine. And what's cool about that is that it's also owned by Google. And so your YouTube videos show up in Google search when you search for something on Google. That's like a double win. Here's another really cool fact about YouTube, and that is that it reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds in an average week than all cable networks combined. That's more than Fox, that's more than CNN, that's more than MSNBC, that's more than all of them combined. And here's the amazing thing. With this guy right here, you have access to all of those people. With your digital TV station, you can broadcast to them for free. You can broadcast to 1/3 of the world's population for free. This is Brother Phil Sanders. He is the host of In Search of the Lord's Way. It's a Bible-based TV program out of Oklahoma. And they do a great work there. I mean, they are in 210 television markets in the United States. They're on 150 local television stations. They're on 50 radio stations, and they broadcast to 30,000 islands in the Pacific Rim. That's hundreds of millions of potential viewers and listeners. That is amazing. And they have been highly successful in that ministry. Their team, should be commended for the work that they do. But this is how much it costs to be on all of those TV stations and radio stations. It costs them about $3.5 million a year. And that's because, that's legacy media, right? You've got to buy the airtime to be on TV and to be on radio. It's extraordinarily expensive. That's why YouTube is so amazing. You can reach the same number of people, even more, with your cell phone and YouTube for free. You could be preaching the gospel to somebody in Australia, England, South Africa, and Kentucky all at the same time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, plus many, 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 many other locations. The power that you hold in your hand is truly amazing. I know what you're thinking, because I used to think the same things. Like, what about negative comments? I don't think I could handle people hating on me. And I don't know what to say. What would I even talk about if I had a YouTube channel and made YouTube videos? I'm afraid that people will laugh at me because I'm not very good on camera. I don't even know how to start a YouTube channel. I don't know how to edit videos. I don't know how to really use my phone much more than just taking pictures. The technology is too difficult. I don't know what to do. And I get it. And those are real concerns. And like I said, I used to feel the same way. But, after being on YouTube for over 12 years and publishing over 2,000 videos, we've learned that making YouTube videos is extremely fun and rewarding. I would love to share with you how simple it is to get started with just your cell phone, how to deal with negative comments and build camera confidence. If you would like to explore the possibility, guys, of starting a YouTube channel and reaching souls for Christ, we're offering some free training and a 21-day challenge to help you jumpstart your channel, build camera confidence, and know what to say. Just click the link down in the description below, or you can scan the QR code that is on the screen here, and I will tell you all about it.